Hey y'all, Rick Sky here. Welcome back to another Timepieces for Tomorrow live show. I am live in the studio. If you're watching this at approximately 7:17 p.m. New York City time, that's 7:17 p.m. Eastern time. This is a live show. I want to remind everyone I've got the merchandise. I'm about to, well, you can see it at the top of the chat. You can see the coffee mug, but if you look down below this video, you can see all of the Timepieces for Tomorrow merchandise, and then also Irish Guys Adventure Channel's merchandise. Now, Timepieces for Tomorrow is a live show series that's exclusive to Irish Guys Adventure Channel. So it's just one of the many live shows that I host here. This obviously is a very wristwatch-centric show. So with that being said, if you're a wristwatch enthusiast and you would like to join the conversation live on air, face on video, you can do audio only, or you can just chat, whatever you want to do. Check out the link that I'm about to pop up. It's just a Skype link. Let's see. Let me get that link here. Copy to clipboard. There we go. I'll copy this sucker over here. Let's see. So in the live chat, you can see the link to this live show. If you want to join Skype, feel free to do so. And let's see. Okay, so here we go. We got H2O in the glass, which is also known as water. And on the wrist today, I've got the Ulysses Norton Maxi Marine Diver. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here again. If you do want to join live, I posted the link within this live show's chat. So let's hop right in here. I'm going to pop up my screen share. We're going to do a little bit of virtual wristwatch shopping here. So a lot of people ask, they're like, "Hey man, what's the best wristwatch? You're searching for your first proper wristwatch. What would I recommend?" So there's a few things here. Let's flip over to the screen share here of chrono24.com. So this right here is chrono24.com. If you've never checked them out, be sure to do so. It's a great resource for shopping for wristwatches. Whether you're choosing to buy through their site or if you're just shopping ahead of visiting your authorized dealer, this is a great place to go. So several timepieces that are probably always going to be in style, and you can see here our recommendations that just so happen to flash up on the main screen. But several timepieces that are probably always going to be good. Hybrid Eye says, "Wish I could join us tonight." Hey man, no problem. Thanks for joining the walk show earlier, and we'll get together for another live show soon. If you don't know Hybrid Life is one of the world's most knowledgeable wristwatch personalities. Like we were talking about earlier, actually, he's rubbing elbows with the Pontiff, Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. That's how knowledgeable he is. Now, he's not quite to the AC3 level, but he's getting pretty close. So, yeah, first wristwatch, what's a good choice that's not super expensive? Now, keep in mind, with wristwatches, price is subjective because, some people just want something that they can wear anywhere and not care about. Some people want to save up and get something nice that'll probably last a few lifetimes. And for an entry, what I refer to as an entry-level quality, well-respected timepiece, it's hard to beat the Omega Seamaster 300M. Now, there are a few things to be aware of with this. Now, this particular one, this right here, and I'd picked one of these up. One of my first wristwatches, picked one up back in right around 2000, the year 2000. And I think it was right around $1,000, maybe a little bit less. So, just a prime example of what can happen with wristwatches. I mean, this thing new, now it's selling for over twice and then some what it was brand new. And this is in used condition. But this is a great wristwatch to consider. They call this the Omega Seamaster 300M with the blue wave dial because if you look at the dial, you can see a wave pattern. Now, it looks a lot different in person, but, the claim to fame of this piece, not only the blue wave dial, but also the bezel. Now, this one is still pretty blue. So whomever owned this one, they they didn't really wear it out in the sun that much. They probably didn't swim with it that much in salt water. Mine's developed a very faded patina. The bezel almost looks like a light blue because of the, because I've worn it. I mean, I did what I was supposed to do with the wristwatch, and that's wear it and swim with it and everything. Some things that make this a great piece. It's got the red tip on the second hand. Obviously, there are several variations of this, and some of them are not automatic. Some of them are quartz. So if you're shopping for an Omega Seamaster, one of these older references like the Blue Wave dial pre-coaxial meaning it's before Omega released the coaxial movement, this is a great reference to pursue. But again, cautionary words, be sure that you're shopping for the automatic and not the quartz. Some people may prefer a quartz. Quartz means it has a battery. If you're getting a Swiss watch, in my opinion, you don't want a battery. You want something that's automatic. On the side of the case, it's got the helium release valve, and it's a really comfortable bracelet, very well made. This being an older timepiece, it does not have the tapered bracelet like you're going to find in a lot of your current reference wristwatches. Now, curiously enough, a lot of the Omegas, even the Seamasters that have ceramic bezels, some of them have the same style bracelet. You either like it or you hate it. I think it's very comfortable, but in comparison to some of the more recent bracelet offerings, I would say even though it's very well made, it can take a beating. I can attest to that. It's there's some better bracelet options available. So this right here, in my opinion, the Omega Seamaster Professional 300M is hard to beat. They call it James Bond because the character James Bond was wearing this piece in several of his movies. So it's iconic. It's built to last. It's not. And again, wristwatches are expensive, but it's not super expensive. So just a great example of an automatic wristwatch that you might want to consider. So that's a well-known, probably always going to be iconic. Probably, again, it could go the other direction, but probably something that's probably always going to continue to appreciate. Things that I would probably stay away from, and different wristwatch preferences come and go, but remember Tag Heuer. Back in the day, they were really popular, but I would probably stay away from those now. I would stick with, if you're going with Omega, definitely the Seamaster 300M, which is, again, arguably one of the most iconic wristwatches in the world. Nothing wrong with the Omega Seamaster 300M. And another option would be the Omega Speedmaster. Now, there's a lot of Speedmasters on the market. What you want is Speedmaster Man on the Moon. Now, these have gone up tremendously in price. Let's see. Speedmaster. And some of the Speedmasters, the original has what's called a Hesselite crystal, which is kind of like let's see what this one is. Okay, so this is the sapphire, and the way you can tell that is that it's got the exhibition case back. The case back that you can see. Dudes, Kyle C., welcome aboard, sir. But yeah, it's got the exhibition case back so you can see the movement. And also on the front, instead of using Hesselite, this particular reference uses sapphire crystal. So if you're wanting a moon watch, an Omega Speedmaster moon watch that is going to be more durable, you would definitely want to go with the sapphire crystal version, which, again, if you're just looking at them, if it's got the exhibition case back, you can tell that, okay, that's the sapphire Moonwatch version. Now, the one that's Hesselite, I'll show you it, is Hesselite. So Hesselite's like a fancy name for a type of plastic. So Hesselite you can tell it's got all this on the back. It says the first watch worn on the moon, flight qualified by NASA in 1966 for manned space missions. So this was the watch that was actually worn. No, not this one, but this is the Omega Speedmaster reference that was worn on the moon. So this is something that will probably continue to go up in value. Again, anything can happen, but I remember these when you could get these for just a little bit over $1,000, and now, I mean, look, they're they've gone up radically, and I think that's going to continue to be the trend with that. So with Omega, you got the Omega Speedmaster Moon Watch, whether you go with Hesalite or Sapphire, and then also with Omega, you've got what we looked at previously, which is the Omega Seamaster 300M. Now, there's some really cool, and they're not as plentiful as they used to be, but let's see, Speedmaster Mark II. These are really cool. Now, they're no longer available, and I remember seeing them in the authorized dealers, and they were very affordable at that point in time. But this is the Mark II. Really cool, different than the Omega Speedmaster Moon Watch, but it's got a really unique case shape. This particular watch in photos doesn't look that good. You put it on your wrist, it looks awesome. I tried one on in, let's see, where was I in? Oh, I was in St. Bart's in the French West Indies, and it was a really cool piece. Take a gander at the new Tudor Royals, interesting for an entry-level integrated bracelet. Let's do that. So Cal C is talking about Tudor. If you're not familiar with Tudor, Tudor is the sister brand of Rolex. And this Tudor Royal, and it comes in a variety of different sizes. Let's look at the 38 millimeter. So this particular wristwatch is kind of like Tudor's take on a date just. It's got an integrated bracelet. Here's an example right here. So people love or hate this. It's got the kind of similar to a date just, Rolex date just fluted bezel, but really different. And then it's got this tapered integrated bracelet. So some people dislike this because of the integrated bracelet. Obviously, with an integrated bracelet, if it wears out, you're going to be tasked with finding something that'll be compatible. Whereas with a traditional wristwatch, you got a lug here and a lug there, and it's just the millimeters in between. So it's often easy to find an aftermarket strap or bracelet. With this, if you wear through this, it's probably going to be tough to find. But with that being said, this would be a watch you would wear with a suit. This probably wouldn't be a watch that you'd want to swim with. So for its intended use case, that bracelet would probably last a few lifetimes. I mean, it's not like you're going to be that aggressive when you're wearing a suit. So, but yeah, this is what Kyle C was talking about. Again, it's available in a variety of different case sizes, different dial colors. It's interesting. Although I'm not personally a fan of it, I know a lot of people that are, and a lot of people say that it kind of resembles an AP in a weird way. So, yeah, that's another option to consider. Something else, if you don't want a dive watch, Tudor Black Bay. So there's a Tudor Black Bay that's not the. Now, see, of course, it's not going to be one of the most popular models, but it's going to be the Tudor Black Bay. I think it's 36 millimeter, and it comes in a larger size. But yeah, this right here. So for kind of an entry level type timepiece, this right here is nice. Obviously, it does not have a diver bezel, but it's got amazing lume on it, and it comes in a variety of different sizes. I think this is the 36 millimeter, but it's a good looking piece. It's got a screw down crown. You know, it's something you could swim with, but it also, you know, it doesn't have that dive watch look, although it is something you can swim with because of the screw down crown. Speaking of stated water resistance here, let's see. Yeah, so it's got 15 atmospheres, 15 ATM of water resistance. Yeah, Kyle C says, yeah, the 36 millimeter silver dial is nice. Yeah, it's a good looking piece. And I tried one of those on at the Rolex AD in Charlotte Amalie. So it looks really good on the wrist. It looks pretty good in the photos. But, this would be a great alternative too. Somebody that, would be considering, say a Rolex Explorer 1, but they don't want to spend because those have gone through the roof. But they want something that's similar, but they want something they can swim with a screw-down crown, but something that also looks kind of like a dress watch. So this kind of ticks a lot of boxes. Screw-down crown, no dive bezel, looks, you could wear it on the beach, you could wear it with a suit. And I mean, you can wear a Rolex with a suit. A Submariner if you want to. It's not a big deal. It's not like it used to be. I mean, used to, you would only wear a dress watch on a leather strap with a suit. You would never wear a sports watch, but like everything else, things change, and now it's kind of wear whatever you want to wear. So that's another. And again, this, like anything else, I mean, when this hobby first kind of came to the playing field, I mean, there were tons of wristwatches, there were tons of different references and brands available at very accessible price points, and like everything else, prices have risen. I mean, I remember when this particular piece was, you could find it below, 2,000 US. So, things change. And this is a more current piece. I mean, you look at, let's think of some other stuff. Now, there are, let's see. Y'all tell me in the chat here. Is there something? Kyle C had a great suggestion, which was the Tudor Royal. What other, let's just call them sleepers, are out there? What's out there that you think is something that would be a good entry level timepiece for today's market? I'm trying to think of a few things here. Let's see. So many things have gone up. That's the thing. There's the entry level category is, well, let's look at, tell you one that is, let's see, Oris makes some good stuff. Then there's, now this is on the lower tier. Used to be very well respected, but Longines. A lot of people call it Longines, but it's Longines. They make some pretty cool stuff. So this right here, this Conquest, let's see. I mean, this is ultra entry level right here. I mean, you've got, looking at that, it looks very similar to an Explorer 1. It's got, and again, this is an entry level piece. This is not, let's see, I think that's, oh, that's a ladies. That explains it. That's why I was like, wait a minute, that's small. Oh, here we go. Here's the men's version right here. So I think this looks good. I mean, again, it's Longines, it's entry level, but it used to be well respected, and things can circle around. And the dial on it looks nice. It's got a polar dial. It's got, look at all the markers. I don't know if they're probably not hand laid, but they are elevated. It's got a nice, I mean, the case profile, the case height is not that significant. That's nice. So, I mean, you could wear this with a suit. You could wear it with a swimsuit if you wanted to. It's got an exhibition case back. Oops. Let's go back. I scrolled too fast there. So yeah, this has an exhibition case back on it. So that's kind of a cool thing. If you're going more entry level. And again, this is a watchmaker that had a good history. I mean, recently their reputation became a little bit tainted, but yeah, see, this is 40 millimeters. It's got a case thickness of only 10 millimeters. That's awesome. Water resistance of 5.8 atmospheres, 5 ATM. So, a lot of value in that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Longines. I mean, I would go personally And, you know, a lot of y'all may differ. I would go Longines over, say, a Tag Heuer. I mean, that would be my preference. I think Longines is a brand that might be able to rebound in the future. And I'm not saying they're not good now. I'm just saying in comparison to the other watchmakers, they're not quite up there. But I mean, they got a nice looking box. I mean, it's a quality timepiece. But again, we're talking entry level here. We're not talking about any of the higher end stuff. So, and then we've got, let's see here, some other ones. Let's see, Longines, and here's a two-tone, man. If you want to go two-tone in it, you could. 42 millimeter. I mean, that for the price point. I mean, if you're looking for something two-tone, now I'm sure those aren't solid links and probably not a solid bezel. Oh, Kyle C had a good suggestion here. Kyle C said the Tissot Gentleman. Tissot makes some good stuff. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Tissot Powermatic. I mean, this price point is sub 1,000. Look at that. Powermatic 80 Silicium. Dial looks really nice. Look at that. I mean, great finishing. Obviously not a dive bezel. This is more of a dress watch. Nice case profile, not too tall. That's something you got to be aware of with some of the watches. You'll find the case height, and I'm talking about from on the side. If you look at this side or the other side, they can be really tall. So a good way to gauge that, unless it's got an oversized crown, which this one doesn't, unless it's got a huge crown, which is this piece. If there's a crown and then there's space up above and down below, it's something that may look really tall on your wrist. And that may be what you want. Now, a brand, and we'll circle over to it in a minute, that's notorious for cases of significant height is Breitling. But yeah, Cal C was talking about this Tissot Gentleman. I mean, this could be a good entry level wristwatch. It looks really nice. It's got a deployant clasp, you can see there. So, something that would be well respected for entry level. Now, entry level Breitling. Let's go to Breitling. So let's look. Now, Breitling is going to be more of a tool watch, but, and this is the entry level Breitling. It's called the Breitling Colt. So something of completely different design, but more of a tool watch than a dress watch. But this is the Colt, which is arguably Breitling's entry-level piece. And what I was talking about case height here, when you go over, see, look at the side profile of this. It wears wider because it's got these things. They're called crown guards that are beside the crown. But unlike a lot of Breitlings, this case height is not super tall. So let's look at the specs. Yeah, thickness, which is case height, is 11.25 millimeters. So that's not for a Breitling. That's not thick at all. But compare that to say let's just look at Breitling in general. We have the Super Ocean Heritage. They've got significant case height. Let's see, 46. Yeah, like these have case height of, it doesn't list. That's funny, it doesn't list it. But yeah, they fit taller on your wrist than than a dress watch. So there's a lot of options out there. I mean, if you're looking for, again, if you're looking for entry level automatic wristwatches, there's a lot of stuff to choose from. You know, the main thing is, and what I caution everybody about, don't assume just because it's from a certain brand that it's going to be a good piece. Because now one exception is probably Rolex. Rolex doesn't release anything that's a dud. But, you know, a lot of the other brands, you got to be careful. I mean, even with Omega, especially with Breitling, you got to be careful. Just because it's from that brand doesn't mean that it's desirable and that it's going to wear well. Hybrid Life says, what's my next watch? Well, you said your next watch earlier on the walk show. You said it's going to be the Starbucks. So this is, let me pull up the Starbucks here for Hybrid Life. Oh, not counting the Starbucks. After the Starbucks, I think you said, let's see, was it AP? And then, wait a minute. No. AP was one of them. I think it was Starbucks. And then AP was one of them. Paddock. Yeah, Paddock. Paddock was your number 2. AP was your number 3. Yep, I remember that now. So, yep. So Hybrid Life is a super collector, and he is he's got a Starbucks. Which Paddock are you pursuing? The 5980. So here's, let's see, let's pop this screen up here. Go back to Chrono 24. Pop this puppy over here. And so here's what Super Collector Hybrid Life is going for. And this is not an entry-level piece. So Super Collector Hybrid Life is going for the Paddock 5980. So, yes, we have a celebrity in the house, Hybrid Life. So that's what he's going for. Now that is not that is not an entry-level timepiece, but that's probably something that'll probably continue to always go up in value. So, you know, Hybrid Life being a super collector, that is that's a great addition for his rotation. But next he's getting before he gets that, he's getting the Starbucks, which some people call it Starbucks, some people call it the Sermont. So he's getting this one next. So it's got a ceramic bezel, and then it's got a a black dial. So yeah, that's he said that, I think you said that's going to be your everyday beater, isn't it? Your Starbucks. So that's an impressive piece. And actually that was released, I think it was wasn't it 2020 when they released that? The Starbucks. Of course it's 41 millimeter, but because of the lugs, it doesn't wear like a 41 millimeter. So yeah, that's cool. Something else, let's see, Hybrid Life, what would you say? I know you're a super collector, but what would you say would be a good entry-level piece for somebody to consider? I mean, when I'm saying entry-level, I'm saying around or possibly below 1,000. What would you go for? Not what you would go for, but what would you steer people towards? Oh, did the Starbucks not come up? I pulled it up. Oh, was that not the Starbucks that I pulled up? Yeah, I pulled up the AP you were talking about, but here's the Starbucks. They call it the Starbucks because of the color. It's not like it has a coffee machine or anything built into it. There's no coffee producing complication. So yeah, that's going to be Hybrid Life's beater, the Starbucks. Hybrid Life's in the audience tonight, by the way. Subscribe to his channel. He's trying to get past 50,000 subscribers ASAP. Interesting. So for an entry-level timepiece, Hybrid Life recommends this. Let's pull it up. Tag Carrera. Yeah, so for entry level, this is pretty good. You're getting a chronograph complication, which, you know, for newbies in the watch collecting arena, a chronograph is it's a stopwatch. That's the best way to describe it. So this is what Hybrid Life would recommend as an entry level watch. And keep in mind, just because it's entry level doesn't mean it's not good. And the desirability of these things can often continue to increase. So, you know, this particular reference has been around for a while, and a lot of people that are looking at, because now the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, I mean, it's gone through the stratosphere in price. This would be a good option for somebody that's that wants a chronograph, but they don't want to spend for the Moon watch, for the Speedmaster Man on the Moon. So, you know, this is a good again, a good option to consider. That's the thing about wristwatches. There's so many things, so many out there, and unless you put it on your wrist, you really don't know what it's like. I mean, that's why I recommend always go to an authorized dealer, try it on, and, you know, see what fits your wrist, see what fits your personality. And that's so important, because, you know, the size of your wrist, like my wrist bone's all messed up, so certain watches don't fit my wrist right. They kind of fall below it. So I'm limited to what I actually wear. And see, this case is 41 millimeters. And it's kind of thick. It's 15.9 millimeters. But yeah, Hybrid Life says that's a nice watch for under $1,000. I agree. Yeah, it definitely is. And speaking of that, I wonder if Longines has a chrono. Now it's a little bit, well, that particular one's of a higher price point. I don't know if you're getting into this territory with Longines, I don't know if I'd be looking at Longines. I'd be looking at Omega or something at that point. I'd just be like, wait, I'm going to save up for a few more years or whatever and get an Omega. Nothing wrong with Longines. Longines is a good entry-level option. But, yeah. Yeah, so we've looked at quite a few wristwatches. People were asking, you know, for entry-level wristwatches, and this is kind of a good overview. Again, the Hybrid Eye says I'm getting into pens as well. What are your favorite pens? How about, you know, writing instruments? Yeah, it's good. It's good to have, you know, especially in sales. It's good to have. Well, in sales, as we all know, it's all about the wristwatch. It's all about the shoes, and also the pen, because, and not necessarily as much so now, especially because of the situation, man. People, you try to hand them something, they kind of go away in fear, because, like, man, this virus is going around. You know, they don't want to grab your pen. But you can look at it from the other perspective too. If you're not sharing your pen with others and you just keep it for yourself, it's good to have a good writing instrument. I just use a basic Mont Blanc. It's just a ballpoint. I like the ballpoint, and I use the what is it called? The mystery ink, the kind of purple colored ink. You know, it just gives you know, when you sign a check, or when you're doing whatever type of business, you know, it just gives you a more professional look. Yeah, and I think Mont Blanc, I think they're probably they've been around. They've been the the number one, arguably the number one writing instrument brand for many years. So that's, pens, a good pen, a good watch, it's always important. And remember, money can't buy a class. So, even if you put on a nice watch and have a nice pen in your pocket, in your dress shirt's pocket, you're not guaranteed to have class. Drinking a ton of water, man. That was a good walk. I'm gonna go fry some fish, air fry some fish. Gonna have that. And yeah, we need to. This is kind of an odd hour here. We've had a few people tune in. It's funny. I had more people in the walk show than I do in this studio show. So I think a lot of people tuned in for the walk show, and they're like, "Oh man, another live show." But yeah, we need to get a large base of watch enthusiasts on here. Again, Hybrid Life's a huge watch enthusiast, super collector. We got Trevor, we've got Marcello, we've got there's the list goes on. So let's just continue to add this, because what I want to see here in a few weeks, I want to see this entire screen just lined up with people. Just tons of people. I want to see those super chat fireworks going off. It's gonna become something good, because I got the studio set up. The studio works now, and I can flip between me, and I can flip to Chrono 24, and I can flip to the face on video participants when we've got live people on. So it's just a really cool, well-oiled system now. So with that being said, I gotta air fry some fish. I've got to edit some videos, and I've got a few business ventures of mine to incubate. In other words, take care of. And I will see y'all soon for a live show. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, thanks for your subscriptions, your comments, joining in on the live shows, super chats, all of that. It's always awesome. And Hybrid Eye saying do live giveaways. That'll be a great milestone. Once I grow this Timepieces for Tomorrow show to where I'm consistently getting a few hundred or so live participants or live viewers, I think that'll be a great thing. And what I'd really like to do is get sponsored. So if you know anybody out there that's a wristwatch dealer that would like for me to plug their company, shoot me a message, and that'll be a great. And that's something else I need to get some cards set up where I've got my email address at Timepieces for Tomorrow and all of that, because I really want to get linked in with a lot of big players within the wristwatch community. So appreciate y'all's viewership. And again, all of these live streams, they'll remain clean and appropriate for all age groups. It's not just my mission to entertain, but it's my mission to potentially educate as well, because this is a very complicated hobby, and it's something that warrants a lot of live streams and a lot of conversations among viewers, and hopefully something that will become a really exciting forum for us, because to my knowledge, there's not something like this out there. I know there's a lot of watch channels, and I know there's a lot of wristwatch live shows, but one that's clean and one that remains focused and is just a great question and answer forum for everybody. There's nothing that will be vulgar on this channel. It'll just be friendly and entertaining and possibly educational conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so and ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Also, check out the merchandise down below. I've got all the Timepieces for Tomorrow merchandise, and actually during one of the upcoming live shows, it didn't arrive today, man. I was bummed. I'm going to be wearing my own Timepieces for Tomorrow shirt. So I'm excited about that. You'll get to see the quality. I'll get to feel and show off the quality in person. And you can find those shirts linked down below this video. Y'all have a good day and be safe. See y'all next time.